And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Inside Sports, Fantasy Football, looking to do a Inside Sports Fantasy Football, hopefully closer to the weekend. Hopefully getting you the update on the final week of the NFL season. And for many, the final week as far as their playoff run is concerned, as far as for fantasy football. So we'll go ahead and talk about that as well. Also, as well, the shout out to the Lakerholics crew, Lakerholics.com. Also, as well, of course, Joe Soro, who probably will not be here tonight. He was there on playback, spouting off as usual in the chat, but he is hosting a party. So go ahead and support him in the new year by getting his game Crypt, Crypt on Steam. Yes, Gustavo, it was a tough game indeed. NBA, what's up? Truly appreciate you joining us. Also, as well, of course, don't forget our good friends, Alfred Esmond, Stone Hansen, Legend 350, the Lakerholics crew, like I said, Empire Jeff TV, John McCallion channel, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo, everyone out there that has supported us throughout the year, cannot thank you enough, including the guy that's coming up right now with me, the guy behind Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. Please like and subscribe. Appreciate all those great entities out there, those great people behind those great channels, behind those great profiles and websites. All those people truly appreciate their support throughout 2024. Looking for their continued support in 2025. I'm also looking for your support in 2025 by subscribing today. We're not yet to 2,000. We're just 13-ish short. So we can still do it. I have hope. But even if that's the case, it's still, we're almost there, and it couldn't have done it without you. Also, as well, don't forget our membership program at $2.99 a month. Become a member today. Get emojis, badges, articles, videos ahead of time in some cases as well. A lot of good stuff that's coming at you in the near future in 2025 if you're a member for $2.99 a month as well, right here at the Lakers Fast Break. And again, please help us out by subscribing. We look forward to growing even bigger, faster, larger, better in 2025. Joe's talking about doing some things as well. You know, he always talks this and that, but it looks like he might be doing some things in 2025. I hopefully will be adding some things into the shows and the channel as well. I know John's going to be doing his thing as well for his channel. So please like and subscribe to all the great stuff that's out there that we do and we're affiliated with Clutch Talk, Lakers Corner, and the Lakers Fast Break as well. Well, on behalf of everyone, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, wherever you are at in the world, I want to wish you a happy and blessed new year and 2025. It's always so funny when we talk to all of our Australian friends who have already celebrated the new year. So I'm like, we're talking way into the future. We're talking next year to them, but it was great to have them tonight on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, even though the game itself pitted the Lakers, ending their 2024 at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers, a team that has the NBA's best record, only 4 losses on the season. What would happen? Well, we thought maybe we could get competitive with them tonight because they did come off last night's game where they blew out Golden State in Golden State. But no, this Cleveland Cavaliers team is playing at a high level, and it showed right from the get-go. They provided a really good quality defense against the Lakers. The Lakers looked a little bit disheveled at times in the first quarter, but came back to close the gap, make it close. They went down as far as 16 in the second half, but came back, tried to cut that lead down, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. And I know that Dan had said that it would be a 120 to 110 game. He was almost right on the score, but unfortunately it wasn't in our direction, as the Lakers unfortunately could not stay with the Cleveland Cavaliers as they lose 122 to 110. Great game by Austin Reeves, 35 and 10. LeBron James, after hitting 40, solid 23 and 7. AD, 28 and 13. You're thinking to yourself, yeah, he really had a good game. He did on one side of the ball, but unfortunately, the defense tonight, especially inside, they let Jared Allen roamed free for 27 and 14, including 14 rebounds. Like I said, Evan Mobley hit for 20. Donovan Mitchell hit for 26. Darius Garland hit chip in for 14. Max Strus, 4 of 8 from 3. Overall, they were 39% from 3. They hit 18 3-pointers to our 9. And there was the game in a nutshell. As again, the Lakers lose 122-110. And here today is the man I talked about earlier. Good man indeed. It is, of course, the guy behind Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. It is John Costa. John, and already the back and forth. Oh, D'Lo's gone. Must be the reason why we lost. Oh, D'Lo's gone. We're already starting that. Again, D'Lo in there. DFS and Shake Milton in there. I don't think it would have really mattered because John, Cleveland right now is playing at an all-time confidence high. I don't know if they can play any better than they have been this part of the season. They played at an incredible pace. They're shooting the lights out. They're playing with fervor on the defensive end. And this should have been a tired team coming on a back-to-back, but tonight they proved that right now, as of right now, they're playing better than anyone in the league right now, John.
They absolutely are, man. And yeah, it doesn't matter if we D'Lo, it doesn't matter who we had out there. If your name isn't Jesus Christ, it wasn't going to make a bit of a difference because we shot 9 of 35 3-point line. And not even that, right? Not even that. I want to look at the turnovers, and I would give us second half a lot the turnovers. Really ended the game with quarter, guys. In the first quarter, we had 6.
Yeah,
we had 6 turnovers in the first quarter. That means that for the rest of the game, and I'll give us the game, but deep hole like.
Okay, looks like
it's very elite team.
John, I think we're losing you on your router. You're losing your connection. It's been ping-ponging all over the place, my friend.
Man, okay, I'm gonna leave and come back.
Yeah, sounds good, my friend. No worries. Again, with the Lakers tonight, just unfortunately could not get it done. Of course, as we saw, defensive end, just too many defensive breakdowns. AD was constantly getting caught behind on lobs and very high percentage shots for Allen. Love says, great to have you here, Love. Welcome. Please like and subscribe. We could have won. I have hope for this team. We defended their point shots much better at the end of the game. Cleveland was just amazingly hot behind the arc. Yes, they were shooting 39% overall. And John, getting you back in here, you've got 5 full bars on your router. Truly appreciate it. Again, your thoughts and insight. This team in Cleveland right now is playing at a season high for them. I don't know if they could get any better, but I don't know if they could look any better than they did tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, no, exactly. So what I was saying was it wouldn't matter who we have had in there. Unless your name would have been Jesus Christ, it would not have made a difference. D'Lo, Dorian Finney-Smith, Shake, it doesn't matter because of the way we played. And I was harping on the 6 turnovers of our 8 total that we had in the first quarter. And the reason why I was harping on that point is simply because when you put yourselves in a hole, it's not that you can't dig yourself out of it. I mean, we even ended up taking a lead in the third quarter, but you fight so much just to get up by 2. You fight so much just to get up by 1 because you put yourself in such a dark, deep hole that you're setting yourself up for failure. And I wasn't expecting much from Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. But they looked lost out there, but that's deservingly so. Like I expect that. But honestly, we just got dominated by a better team. I feel like certain games there's a lot of like analysis to go into. I think this game is we just got dominated by a better team. We shot 9 of 35 for 3-point line, and they hit 18 3-pointers. But they were also just a better team. Like, let's say they could have gone 9 of 35 for the 3-point line as well and still probably beat us. I'll be honest with you, just because they are the better team.
Again, this Lakers team is still getting everything together. Of course, they just made the trade for Dorian Finney-Smith. Shake Milton added to the team. You admitted, and it looked like out there that they're just getting used to what's going on out there. And obviously, it's going to take some time to acclimate themselves properly to the offense and to the defense primarily, especially with Dorian Finney-Smith. Really not much of a factor tonight, but I expect in the coming days they better make a difference, because when you give up a guy like D'Angelo Russell, who is very much maligned, as Joe's was pointing to, a guy that was, both here and Minnesota, that he feels like he was addition by subtraction when they got rid of him, when they think they got better because D'Lo's no longer on the team. Well, they need to prove it now. They need to play consistently, and they need to win. Now, this game, we had been saying that this game was most likely a loss. But there's still many more games that are upcoming for the Lakers to win. I was saying during a playback, if the Lakers go 9-3 leading up to the Boston game, I would be ecstatic about that, because they do have that kind of schedule. The only other tough game, in my opinion, leading up to the Boston game is the at Houston game. Otherwise, every other game out there that they have on the schedule leading up to Boston is a very winnable one. So what happens then, John, when you come in and you can take this loss, you put it behind you, but you still, up in front of you, have a lot of winnable games ahead for the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, your bars are flying all over again, man, on your router.
I don't know.
So
I don't know what's.
No worries.
I don't know what's going on.
You get you back as soon as you can, man. No worries. Just you pop in, pop out. But again, it is the Lakers losing 122-110. I've got John Costa here as soon as he can get. John, can you hear me?
I can. It's just super choppy.
No worries. Go ahead, my friend, with your thoughts on the Lakers' upcoming schedule, because, again, we put this in the rearview mirror. How quickly we can is up to the Lakers, but there's definitely some winnable games on the way.
There's 100% some winnable games on the way, Gerald. And my biggest thing I would say is, after a night like this, you know what you got to do? You got to go to the film room, see what you did wrong, acknowledge it, and then grab that film and throw that film in the trash, because this was just an all-around bad game. Acknowledge what we did wrong to make sure we don't make those same mistakes moving forward, but we need to move on and not let our confidence be skewed by a team that's now 9-0 against Western Conference teams.
One of the things that you've always been, as the biggest supporter and the guy president of the D'Lo fan club, is the fact that he is a playmaker. And, you talked about AR now having to take more of a leadership role, more of a point guard, de facto point guard type role. Adam in the chat mentioned as far as not having a playmaker or somebody to go ahead and set up this team coming off the bench, which he is right on. Shake Milton is more of a shooting guard, more of an offensive player. AR, to an extent, is more of an offensive player. He is passing, he's getting assists, but he is looking more often for his own shot than someone else's. He is a great secondary playmaker, but making him the primary carrier, the primary playmaker, is going to be something of a challenge, but I think he may be up to the challenge. We'll have to wait and see. Other coaches have tried the same thing with him. We'll wait and see how that looks. But coming off the bench, you just don't have a playmaker or a guy to really set it up the way you want to, unless you want to start getting LeBron back involved.
Yeah, and that was my biggest concern. And with the whole, hey, my brother, with the whole D'Angelo Russell, being gone trade, that was the biggest thing. Damn, guys, like, yes, the defense terrible, yes, all this and all that, and I acknowledged all this as the president of the D'Angelo Russell fan club. I acknowledge it, but I just said, but look, guys, like, we don't have that playmaker. Again, Austin Reeves, he's now it's a put up or shut up time, right? It's like, hey, you can do it, you can this, you can that. It was all speculations, but now it's shit. We're gonna see if you can do it or not, because the ball's gonna be in your hand every single game for you to do it. So let's see. But just want to acknowledge, and I'm not like on this downfall, but the 6 turnovers we had in the first quarter, he was 3 of them. So it's gonna get tough.
It's going to be a little bit of a bumpy road because, again, AR, for all the great things he's done, it's still a little bit. The offense has been flowing as well as I'd like to see it yet. It is still a little bit of ISO centric with LeBron and AR. Getting AD involved obviously has to be something of a priority as well. He did hit threes tonight, but if you're counting on that, again, let the averages play itself out. Also here today, good man indeed. He is our Australian version of Chris Hemsworth. It is Mark from the future in 2025. Mark, great to have you here, aka Xbox. Great to have you here, my friend.
Thanks, boys. Happy New Year.
The Australian Joe Soro, he calls himself. I feel sorry for you if that's the case.
That that was only said once and won't be said again.
Well, I remembered it. So yes, there you go. No, I'm kidding, my friend. I'm kidding. All good. I'm good. Tonight we saw a team coming in there 28-4. Absolutely has been killing it all season.
Yeah.
It's easy to understand why. They looked really good on both ends of the floor at times. At times they were really hustling on defense, really confusing the Lakers. On offense, their play action and the way they get, as far as if they don't get anything going outside, they just take it inside and they go ahead and they create movement and lobs for Jared Allen. Your thoughts on this Cleveland team and how good it looks right now facing off against the Lakers?
Oh, it's a really nice team. And like we said during playback, Mitchell was balling. Like, he looked like a 2K player tonight. So when that happens, it's going to make it really tough. But I also look at it in a few different ways. Tonight I looked at it as an opportunity to beat them because they're on a back-to-back. But then you throw in the fact that we've just made a trade and you're trying to integrate a couple new players, which took away from the team tonight because it meant Reddish spent way too much time out there and was just a complete negative. Rui didn't play well at all, particularly in the first half when we needed him to just make a couple of shots. Layups. Max was similar. So I and AD, really, he got absolutely smashed by Allen in the end. If you look at it, like if you just isolate those two players, maybe you can look at their numbers and they're similar. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked at the box score in detail, but the last quarter was the last quarter and Allen just balled out. So they're a hot team, but I also think they're beatable. Like, they're not, like I said the other day, they're not the Warriors of 2018. They're going to lose games. But yeah, give them credit, man. They're playing well at the moment. And yeah, I mean, when you see a player like Mitchell tonight, I absolutely love it. Like, people talk to me and that, we've sort of even just shared a few emails amongst each other and that about the state of the NBA. Well, bro, like, just watch Mitchell. If you got a problem with the NBA, watch players like that, and not even just him, Garland, and then they got LeVert off the bench. Yeah, they're a great team. Like,
and Strus,
it just rolls off Strus, Niang. It just rolls off the tongue. They're an elite squad.
Fucking LeVert. Karis LeVert.
Yeah, LeVert's man. He's sixth man of the year without a question right now.
And they got him off the scrap heap, if I remember correctly. He was, I think,
at the
Ty
Nets,
Jerome.
I think, I mean, but he's always been a good player in my eyes. So, yeah, I mean, an elite squad, but what we're putting together is not too bad either. I know John's got serious concerns over AR, which I think we all do. And that's possibly why we need to, I don't know, obviously, I'm not sure we're going to make a trade where
they're putting so much on his plate.
Well, and they are. And I mean, look, he stepped up tonight again, John, didn't he? If you look just at the numbers, I mean, yeah, in winning time, he missed the three and there was moments where he went a bit cold, but his contribution to the game overall gives you a chance to win. And I'm sorry, guys, but let's just talk about it. Again, AD, big game, big player, big baller against him, and he can't get it done. Like, he was poor in that fourth quarter, and I made the comment, that the officiating didn't help when the ball went off Allen and it hit Rui. That was still our ball. But, man, if you're a strong player, that ball doesn't get knocked out by Allen. He doesn't take it with any conviction, and we saw it a few games ago with the layup late in the game where he could have dunked it, laid up, missed. We lost. Like, it's just a worry there with AD. I'm sorry. Like, You know, from the start of the season when he looked like an MVP, he's really playing soft at the moment, which didn't help tonight.
Absolutely. No, it didn't help at all. Once again, it is the Lakers losing 122 to 110. It is Mark, aka Xbox from Down Under. Also, as well, of course, John Costa, Clutch Talking Lakers Corner. I thought you were hosting.
Here we go.
Boom, 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 boom. Joe in the
New
house.
Year's.
You knew he couldn't take being insulted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Insulted by what? You?
Yes, me.
I don't
And
care.
Danny.
If I let what
Danny
you
was
say
having a crack.
affect me, I'm going to retire. I did have something to say because I think there's something that needs to be discussed that we're not discussing. Go ahead.
Well, you didn't allow us to discuss it, but go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go
You
ahead.
want me to discuss it?
Well, first of all, can I pitch your game?
Yes,
Corrupt,
thank you.
Coreupt on Steam. Still a great game, even though the 20% sale is over. Still need a game. Could be the fighting game of 2025. It is Corrupt on Steam. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. So, if you all watched the game, which I did the entire way, we knew that there was a talent deficiency on this team versus Cleveland. We knew that. But something was happening during the game where if the Lakers had been able to just do a couple of fundamental things, and it wasn't missing open shots because they were still in the game when they were missing those shots. What ended up happening was whenever the Lakers got close, and this could be coaching, it just could be, I'm going to go with the talent. The talent's just much better. But what did they do? Right away, in, out. And then when they didn't score, meaning the Cavs, they had a guy rebounding or they attacked AD. And what did AD do tonight? AD played like a puppy. If AD played like he should play, the Lakers might have stolen this game. That was ultimately that was the problem. That was the problem tonight. If you watch the game again, every time Allen got in there and made a basket, it was because AD did not give him any resistance. He was always out of position. Looked like he wasn't paying attention. Where was he? His head was in the clouds tonight. This was the worst game, honestly, that I noticed AD playing in his Laker career.
It's a trend, though, in the last few games for me, Joe, from what I've seen from AD. I don't know how you feel about that.
His defensive awareness and his defensive rotations have not been in recent games what it once was. He is no longer at this time the rim protector that we have always propped him up to be. I think, is that what you're saying, Mark?
Yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, is he injured? You know, he played quite well at the Olympics when he was called upon, but he, you know, and even the start of the season, the first 10 to 15 games, we thought he was the MVP. There's an issue, man. I don't know if it's mental or they're talking to him about trading him, but there's a worry there because when are you going to step up, man? You know, tonight's the night that you want to step up against a player like Allen, who isn't as good as him offensively. And I don't know, man, just every single time AD is challenged lately, he's not stepping up. So,
it's not a secret what Allen does. It's not a secret at all. He plays close to the rim, gets offensive boards, sets himself up for pick and rolls and lobs. That's what he does, and he does it very well, Mark.
Yeah, and just really quickly, there was one moment where Garland went off the dribble, and Garland went for a three, and Max actually defended it really well. And then they went and played the two-man game. Garland threw it to Allen, and we sort of commentated that it was Max's fault that he got lost, but I looked at it, and it was AD, man. He had no idea. Positionally, he should have been on Allen and not allowed the pass back to Garland. So AD's got some issues, man, and he's got to sort it out quickly.
John, let me ask you this. And once again, the Lakers do lose 122 to 110. I'll give everybody the update on the standings here in just a moment. But with the Lakers, John, it was asked of you if you are now the president of the Dorian Finney-Smith fan club. Again, tonight, just came in, got his feet wet, 2 points, not really much of an impact on the game. Shake Milton, 2 3-pointers. These guys, again, give them some time to acclimate themselves into the offense and especially for DFS, the defense. But One thing Dylan the Villain asked was, do you see DFS eventually replacing Rui in the starting lineup? I'd say give it a shot because, again, Rui is having a hard time guarding threes and fours. He's just not a good defensive player. And if he's not finishing at the rim well, he becomes a very limited player and also a very streaky one at that. So your thoughts on, is there going to be a change in the starting lineup sometime soon?
So I think we don't have much to lose here. So I say, try it. Because I'm a big proponent of, you miss every shot you don't take. Hey, try it. Not like we have something huge to lose. But as far as the Dorian Finney-Smith president of the fan club, no, not yet. And the reason why I was the president of the fan club of D'Angelo Russell is because I've been always a fan of him or whatnot, but saw things in his game that I don't think a lot of other people saw, and I try to highlight, and some people would they would look at every other part of his game and not that part. And I was saying, no, I acknowledge all the other parts, but just we can't just skip over the part that he's really, really good at. And that's how I got deemed the fan club president. But with that being said, I haven't found nothing that Dorian Finney-Smith does that the rest of the world don't already know that he's already amazing at. So no, to answer that question, I'm not that president just yet. He hasn't shown me none just yet. Tonight he looked lost, tonight he looked confused, but I do think we should try him out in the
he's new.
The lineup at some point.
Just started there.
No, I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him at all. Yeah. Look confused. New sets, new offense, new everything. You got to how does this player like to play? Where does he want me to be? Does he like me more, setting that screen? He like me more off ball. So I say that to say, hey, we might as well try him in there when, because Rui's not giving us none. I missed D'Lo already. That's what No Ego said. That's funny. It's funny. It's funny. Real quick. Last thing I'll say. Grass is not greener on the other side, y'all. The grass ain't always greener on the other side. I'm not saying that that's what we came out to, but
no, you're
people were killing D'Lo.
Well, let's get a few games in before you and Joe have that argument, because I think that's an argument coming. If that's the case, it will be. But Joe, let me bring it back to you. The Lakers are 18-14 now. They're in 7th place in the Western Conference. But the thing that you look at when it concerns the Lakers, they and the Suns, who are not in playoffs right as of right now, they're the only teams in contention with negative point differentials, which would be concerning if you're a team that's always falling behind and falling behind big. Tonight, they were competitive for most of the game, but let it slip out from under them, I guess halfway through the fourth quarter, and just couldn't quite make it up. What can we do as far as what can the Lakers do to go ahead and try and alleviate that, to finally get some good wins under their belt? Because now is the time. You and I both talked about January, seeing a lot of easy games leading up to the Boston game. What can they do to piece things together to start putting things in a more positive direction?
I don't really know how to answer that question, because I don't see a want on Anthony Davis's demeanor. If you look at, and I know there's people not bagging on Austin, but I want y'all to pay attention to something real quick. Austin Reeves dropped 35 points tonight and 10 assists with almost a triple-double. He had 9 rebounds. And he's not a primary point guard. His job isn't to shoot like a point guard. That's not his game. But what he did 2 things really, really well tonight. He controlled the tempo of the game when he did have the ball in his hand, and he got to the basket and got to the free throw line. That's what really, really good and great players do. And he did that tonight. LeBron has a little bit of a leeway. You have to preserve him a little bit because he's got enough. That's just, you have to do that now. So I'm not expecting him to be getting to the basket every other play, right? We've talked about that enough. What should have happened tonight was Anthony Davis. And if for the box score hounds out there that don't really watch the games, what they act like they do, they'd look at the box score and say, holy crap, AD had 28 points and 13 rebounds. But if you watch the game like we do, you will see at least 5, and there was more, but I'm just going to say 5. And I'm saying 5 to 6 because that is the difference in score at the end of the game. I saw at least 5 plays where Anthony Davis looked like he mailed it in on defense. Didn't even try. What does that come from? Is he tired? Is he focused? Is he frustrated? I don't know. It's not something that we haven't seen before. I just saw it very, very badly in a big amount tonight. And in a game that you were an Anthony Davis playing good defense away from probably winning the game tonight. And if you don't believe me, there's a stretch in the second quarter when he was sitting. That's when the Lakers made their run to come back from the double-digit lead. And then he came back, and then they ended up going back down, I think, 7 after that. Not too long after that. I need you all to understand something. Every sequence in the game matters. In the second, in the third, in the first, in the fourth, the shit matters. Especially when you have parity in the NBA the way you do now. This is not 2004 anymore. Everything counts now, like a lot more than it ever has. Why? Because you have 3-point shooting teams that can get back from a 10-point deficit within a minute. I've seen it a lot the last 5 years. You all have too. Imagine that. A minute. Think about it. They get the ball. Let's say they call a timeout. They're down 10. They get the ball. They just happen to find a wide open shot, 3, boom. The other team gets the ball back. All of a sudden, there's a quick turnover. Boom. They shoot another 3. 6 points went by like that within 20 seconds. And then all of a sudden, something else happens, and they shoot another 3. Or they get a 3-point play. Boom, 9. 9 points is back within less than a minute. This is the NBA. That's why every possession counts. Everything counts. AD playing great in the second quarter after he gets back from sitting, and he rested a lot. And his team backed him up, and it ended up going the other way when he got back in. That cannot happen. That shit never happened when I'd watch the other greats play. It would always be like, shit, we just screwed this up. Now Shaq is coming back in. Now Kobe's coming back in. Now Gasol's coming back in. Now we're effed. So these things, I picked them to lose this game because I know that there's a talent deficiency, and that always and of course, Cavs are great. They're a great team too. They play very well together. They have really good bench guys that can score in bunches. But tonight, you had your guys come out and really kind of bust their rear end and play well. Some of them missed some chippies. Rui, Max missed his open shots. I'm sorry, guys, but that's who they are. If I'm going to sit here, I'm going to probably get mad at them during the game. But the reality of that is that's what those guys are. But AD is not supposed to be that guy in a game like tonight. Tonight could have set the stage for 2025 in January. If you beat these guys, you should be able to now go, okay, we got rid of a problem that we had with D'Lo kind of maybe suffocating the chemistry a little bit because of how bad he would play. And then you get a couple guys that kind of did some things in DFS and in Shake. Nothing big, but they were there. Hell, Shake made 2 of his 4 3-point shots. Yeah. And you're building all this, and all of a sudden you see your main pillar get punked under the rim. I could understand if he was getting drawn out and they were hitting threes, which they were. But at some point, I'm like, look, if you're going to let them shoot those threes, then you better guard the freaking house at the rim. Because if you're letting them shoot the threes and get to the basket, no. It's done. You're not going to – and you have no shot. You have no shot at all to win the game.
No egos in the chat, Mark, saying that the Cavs guards cooked Austin Reeves, which to an extent they're right. Okay. Garland didn't have a great game, but Mitchell had his usual good 20 plus point game. Give him credit for that. But somehow he will not give any credit to Austin Reeves cooking the Cavs guards for 35 because he says 13 were at the free throw line. Funny.
I don't matter.
To get to the free throw line, you have to get cooked.
Who's doing this?
No ego in the chat.
No ego. No ego. I want you to explain something to me. If he wasn't doing great things, how does he get to the free throw line 13 times and make 12 of them, by the way?
Facts.
When you get to the free throw line like that, that's like a slow cook. That's a slow cook. Because now you can't guard that guy that you're supposed to guard, and now you're sending him to the free throw line. That's worse. That's worse. That means you have to foul this guy that's supposed to not be good because, you just can't stop him. And then on top of that, you're out of balance, and you can't guard him to the point where you're not hitting him.
No ego. We're not arguing on what Garland did. If you watch our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, we were complimenting Garland on his speed and quickness. And defensively, Reeves did get burned several times. We're not here to argue with you on that. But to not give any credit to Reeves on the offensive end for cooking the Cavs guards is absolutely asinine. And
Man,
it's just, you're not watching the game is what you're doing. You're just you're admitting to yourself with no ego that you're not watching the game.
No ego.
Yeah. So,
ego would have been one of those ones a few weeks ago that wanted Reeves traded, no doubt. I mean, Reeves isn't the problem tonight at all. Reddish was a major issue. His defending was poor, couldn't shoot. We're integrating a couple of boys into the team. And then you just got to look at it the way it was. Like, if we give Cavs the credit, they absolutely bowled out. Me and John were loving it.
They looked great. Absolutely great. Got to give credit to the Cavs. It felt like we were watching
a video game at times. So when you see that kind of play, you give them the kudos. But like Joe said, if you actually look at the fourth quarter in particular, if AD could have just stepped up in moments, we potentially could have won the game. There was that's how I feel. AD didn't step up late. He played overall a decent game if you look at the stats, which he often tends to do. But late in the game, winning time, I've said this many times, that's when he goes missing. And he went missing tonight. So a combination of kudos to the Cavs, really poor game by who's supposed to be 1A now. And so what do we do, guys? Like,
let me put it in context. Hold on, Mark, because people are going to say it back to you. 28-13. How was that a bad game? Bad game defensively, as far as just not having any defensive presence at all. Go ahead, John.
Go, John.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to jump on, man. And I told one of my homies, Mike, to check out the stream, and he was messaging me about that rant that you were going on, Joe. I ain't gonna lie, and we were talking a little bit about the 28-13, and I agree with both parts. And I'm a believer that two things can be true, right? Like 28-13 is a beautiful stat line, but the game is not black and white, and numbers are not black and white. So that does not mean he had a beautiful game. I think he had a impact on the game. I mean, in that third quarter, he had 11 points. I mean, without him, we probably would have scored like 9 points in that third
big
quarter.
Threes,
so,
John.
Yeah. He definitely had an instrumental part in this game. But to what Joe's point is on, and I agree with Joe on this, is the fact that you didn't show up at your biggest fucking moment. You allowed Jared Allen, literally your matchup, to score 13 points in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, right? Like, that's where stars are born. You got dominated in the paint and allowed Jared Allen, your matchup, to score 13 points in that fourth quarter. Yeah, it's you got outplayed. And it's frustrating to us on here because we know how fucking dominant Anthony Davis could be. And no disrespect to Jared Allen, but he should not be dominating Anthony Davis at all. We're talking about a player that has MVP-like potential. And but the frustrating part for Lakers fans is like you see him bring it against like Isaiah Hartenstein, and then when it's like a real big name big, he just gets in the fetal position and lays down, I guess. And to us, 28 and 13, just isn't enough. But credit to him on that. I just think that in the big moments, he shied away.
Just quickly, and not to chime in too much, but someone made a good point before, Joe and John and Gerald, about do we think AD's a little bit discouraged because he's got no help, or he's getting really tired during the game because he's essentially got no center help with him. It's not a bad point, but I guess the boys aren't too far away from helping, like Hayes, etc. So hopefully that does give him a boost. I don't know what you feel about that. That was just
What again, Joe? Let me ask you this. Let me go bring it back to you guys. Did you think that what we're seeing now? JJ in his post-game comments said that the Lakers have to play close to perfect basketball to beat a team like Cleveland Cavaliers, and tonight, of course, they didn't. But I think where the Cleveland Cavaliers are is where the standard of where you should be. So, however you build a team, that's the byline of where you want to go ahead and create a team and how you want to build it. And I know a lot of you guys are in the chat are asking for centers. You're asking for this. And you're asking for that. It's going to take more than just a Jonas Valanciunas stepping on the court with the Lakers to get the Lakers at that level of the Cleveland Cavaliers, in my opinion. Joe, do you concur that because, again, people are thinking we're just one center away from being at that level, and I think we're going to need a little bit more after we saw what we saw tonight.
Well, the rumored centers that the Lakers were interested in is Valanciunas out in Washington and then Kessler out in Utah. Would you guys say those guys are defensive stalwart?
It's not stalwart, but Kessler's a solid defender.
Is it enough? Is it enough to get AD inspired for whatever reason he's not inspired? And was it he wasn't getting the ball? Is that really who AD is? Is when he doesn't get the ball, he doesn't play defense? Is that how it works?
No, he picks and chooses the nights probably prior to the night.
That's exactly true. That's what Shaq used to do. You don't feed the big dog, you don't guard the house, right? That's what he used to say. And that's fine. I get that. Look, when it comes to players like that, it's just like not everything is the same, unfortunately. I know everybody would like that to be the same. So I'll give you an example. For those of you who watch football, not soccer, football. There's one position I give a little bit more leniency to when it comes to kind of a little bit of an attitude or maybe being a little vocal, and that's wide receivers. Why? Wide receivers spend 90% of the game running around. They'll get the ball if they're lucky 5 times. It's not like a running back. A good starting running back will get it anywhere between 20, 25 times, right? Quarterback's going to throw the ball at least 30 times, right? Receivers run. They do cardio pretty much if you extrapolate the time, because football is a stop-and-go game. They are running basically, let's say half the game they're on offense, right? So that's 30 minutes. They're running for 25 minutes. The other 5 minutes, they're catching something. So if somebody gets angry, right, in that area where they're like, dude, you had 5 seconds on that play. I was wide open. What the hell were you doing? Right? Okay, well, dude, you got to tell the quarterback, hey, what's up? Now, in basketball, if you're a good guard or a good ball handling forward, you have to pay attention to that. If AD indeed wants that ball near the hoop, you got to get him the ball. If that's what's going to make him guard the house, is anybody saying that? Is that really something that's going on? I don't know. I don't think so. He never came off to me as, in any interviews that I've seen, well, I was out there and I went back and forth a few times and nothing happened. Oh, you guys better start getting the ball to him. And I'm just using Shaq as an example because he's a Laker. This goes for any big man. You talk to any down in the block big man, just like a wide receiver. If the guy's going to run all the way back, set up, put his hand up, and he goes, I feel like I can take this guy because I'm only about 5 feet from the basket, and he don't get the ball like 4 or 5 times, He's going to get pissed. And then when he's running back to play defense, he's going to be like, I ain't guarding shit. So what is it? What is it that AD needs to be motivated to play against the upper echelon bigs? That is something you can't do it publicly because he's not going to answer it publicly. That's something that I would sit down with JJ Redick and go, JJ, what is going on with this guy? Why doesn't he want to dominate game in and game out? Because if he doesn't want to dominate, the Lakers are going to have to figure out what to do with AD at this point. AD will work in the right environment, and he'll be valuable. But he's never going to be a 1. Tonight was probably the stamp for me. It was always lingering. I was always trying to talk myself into something else. But tonight, and I'm sorry, Jared Allen is not Sabonis. Sabonis is like his pops. He's smaller than his pops, but he's like his pops. He was born to be a boulder. Jokic is a goddamn freaking double boulder, okay? I get if he doesn't have enough girth to whatever to kind of deal with that in a 48-minute game. It's frustrating maybe. I don't know. But not Allen. I'm sorry, but this guy should be a guy that he should at least be challenging every time. And he didn't. And I'm getting to the point with AD where I'm like, dude, are you going to do this or what? Or are we just wasting our time? Because I'm not going to sit here and yell at LeBron anymore. If LeBron is doing his job, there's no point in yelling at him, oh, well, LeBron needs to motivate everybody. Well, folks, there's some truth to that sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, hey, man, he's a grown-ass man. He's a professional athlete. He could be able to motivate his own damn self.
Damn right. Damn
so
fucking right.
What else is there to talk about? Again, I know Cleveland is good, but tonight's game, forget about how good Cleveland was before. Forget how good they're going to be later. Tonight's game, the Lakers played well enough to win, but there was little things that matter in games like this and even in the path of going to a title that matter that you have to make work. And tonight, you got to sit down with AD and go, what do you want to do? Because if you don't want to do this, then we got to talk at the end of the year. Oh, and I wanted to say this. I wrote this on the chat. Guys, Garland and Mitchell they're small guys. The reason why Reeves was able to get to the basket because those guys can't guard him. Reeves is a big boy. Like you might not look it on TV. He's a big boy, 6'5", and he's got some Oklahoma meat on him. Yeah. So you guys got to pay attention, man. There's a reason why there's weight classes in boxing and in MMA.
Look,
you know what I mean?
If I could jump in here real quick, Joe, you made a great point, and it goes hand to hand with what I've been saying on this freaking channel for so long. And it's, look, if we get rid of a D'Angelo, like how many times did D'Angelo Russell get AD easy lobs at the hoop, where AD, all he has to do is just jump up and grab it and dunk. And Joe, what you just told me right now, you know what you just said? You said, what does it take to get Anthony Davis going? What does it take to get Anthony Davis going? Right? I think it's an internal problem, but you know what I'll tell you as a basketball player? You know what's the number one thing that gets me going? When I see the fucking ball go through the hoop. When I see the ball go through the hoop and I did it, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I can do that again next time. And I can do it again next time and next time and next time. So that's why I like, and I have to harp on it. That was what the importance of D'Angelo Russell was, that he would get so many easy looks for the ADs, the Hayes, for those guys to get them going. And an easy look to those guys is just simply set the screen, roll, jump, boom. Like that's an easy look for those guys. So I say that to say, man, I think the only thing that Anthony Davis will never be a 1A. I've said this so many times. He's a 1B. He's probably the best 1B we'll ever see. He needs to be on a team where he's like the number 2 guy. He's a 1B guy. That's what he is, and it's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, what I think Anthony Davis needs is he needs what LeBron was doing in 2020, a partner who's just, yo, this is your show, man. This is your show. This is your show. And I'm telling you this is your show, so you think this is your show. But at the end of the day, we knew that shit was LeBron James, and LeBron James was orchestrating that whole fucking team. Anthony Davis was a monster and a defender offensively, yes. But at the end of the day, LeBron James is playing chess out there, man. And I think that's what you got to be. You need a point guard to run with AD that can truly get him going, honestly. But I'm about to do this recap really quick, man. If you want to check out my recaps, please do check me out on
Hell yeah, John.
Lakers Corner on YouTube and Clutch Talk on YouTube as well. And get at me, man.
Sounds good, John. Hey, John, on behalf
Sweet.
of all of us here, Happy New Year, my friend. Blessed
Happy New
2025
Year.
for you and the family.
Appreciate
New Year,
all you
bro.
guys. I will see all you guys in 2025. Lakers,
There you
go.
Lakers,
What-
you guys.
I'm already there.
Once again, it is
See you
John
soon.
Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. Please go ahead, like and subscribe to his channels and make sure he has a fantastic 2025 as well. To all of our viewers on the East Coast, we wish you a happy new year. Once again, the Lakers lose 122-110. Joe. Remember when Joe said he was turning over a new leaf for the new year, keeping it cleaner, worried about John?
It hasn't
Costa,
started
the
yet
Nugget
for
guy,
Joe,
you got
so-
all that. He said,
Give-
I just said
Give
the
him
S
benefit
word.
of the doubt.
Yeah, he says, I just said the S word a few times. So
That's all right. On a night like
Joe,
tonight, that makes
we
sense.
got nothing but love for you, my friend, and we always appreciate you
Always.
being here. I want to
Okay.
go ahead and make sure everybody again knows that 122-110. But yes, if you've not seen us already, we're here over 300 days in a year. Our goal, obviously, is to be here as many days as we can covering the Lakers. I know Joe said he's going to go into more detail on covering the Dodgers. Xbox is going to be writing some stuff out, especially that's going to be out there not only for Pop Culture Cosmos, but also as well for our Lakers Fast Break members as well. So great stuff to look forward to in the new year, if they so choose. So guys, hopefully you will join us on this venture and on this merry venture. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. We're in less than 10 left. Again, as Blue pointed out, truly appreciate you, Blue, doing everything you can to help us out modding wise on a huge chat room tonight. It is, of course, the Lakers losing 122-110, but still, Mark, again, I don't want to put too much on this because, again, Joe and I, when we patterned this out, we chalked it up as a loss. We thought it would be something where, again, they're playing a team that's 28-4 coming into the game. They're now 29-4, and you've got to give them credit. They are playing at a high, better than anybody in the NBA right now. Boston's lost a couple times in the last week. OKC is defending well, playing well too. But right now, you got to give the edge to Cleveland, who's playing the best. And right now, I'm going to say Cleveland is playing better than anyone out there right now. I think that goes without saying. But the Lakers, again, if they put the leading games leading up to Boston later in January, if they win 9 of those upcoming 11 games, they put themselves right back into the thick of that, 2 through 12 mix. Your thoughts on what the Lakers need to do to just get back on the right track? They were going, 4 of 5 coming into the game, looking pretty good. They can still continue that streak with some good wins under their belt.
Oh, for sure. Tonight was a big game in the sense that, if we won tonight, we would have gone, 19-13, and we would have been right up there, in between the 5th and 4th spot. So it's a shame, but we also got to acknowledge that we are integrating 2 players into the team. We've just traded D'Lo. D'Lo might have given us something tonight to get us over the line, potentially not as well. But so you look at it like that. You're playing an informed team. You've had a weak contribution from AD late in the game. It's a tough game. We got to learn from this kind of stuff. I also felt like AD played really poorly against Detroit as well, late in game. And I don't know, like Joe made a really good point before about, sitting AD down and having a chat to him. I think that's got to involve LeBron as well. I think they've got to have a serious chat to this guy and say, how committed are you to the next 4 or 5 months? Because like a guy like LeBron doesn't just have this season on the line. He's got his career on the line. He, like I said yesterday, he keeps telling us he's the GOAT. You're not the GOAT, bro. You've won 4 chips. You might want to get a little bit closer to other people who have won a lot more. So I hope there's a serious conversation with AD to say, late in game, are you going to ball or not? Because if you're not, yeah, you're my best mate, but we're going to have to make some moves here if you don't think you're committed. Because we've seen it enough with AD to suggest that in winning time, he goes missing. Like I keep saying, I keep using that line. So I just hope there's a conversation, because I don't know about you guys, but if my best mate asks me to do something, I'll be all over it. So let's just hope that chat happens. And AD's like the kind of player you just want to shake him. He's the kind of player you just want to shake, wake up. But he doesn't seem to be able to wake up when we need him most. So honestly, tonight was about the Cavs, but it was about AD. And I think Joe and I are on the same wavelength with AD. From what we've seen from his previous games and the moments that he's let us down. I still love the guy, and I hope he can step up. But there's got to be a serious chat that happens. And when we get these other players into the mix, like Hayes and that can support him, if he doesn't step up, well, yeah, man. I don't know. Like, what are we looking at with him in terms of the future? He's only getting older. LeBron's getting older too. If we're about chip, yeah. Where are we going with
Stone
these
said
guys?
it first. I followed on that train. If it doesn't work out and the Lakers have just another, first round loss that you're looking at, I think you got to start thinking some hard things as far as possibly moving AD. But then again, a lot of people want to see one side of the equation, but I think Xbox, your rationale is very good.
No, yeah, appreciate it. But yeah, I've sort of I've listened to Joe for a while about AD, and I concur a lot with his thoughts. But yeah, I hope he steps up, man. He's a Laker. We're talking about a 75 to top 100 player of all time. Man, it's just obviously it's the first here. It's nearly the first for you guys. It's a big year for AD in his career too.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is, of course, Mark, aka Xbox, Joe Soro, also here today. I tried Lakers all day. I did send you a link. Hopefully you got it. Also as well here today for a few minutes, because we're going to go ahead and not stay on too much longer, but glad to have you here. He was part of our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. He is here, Ali. He did call the game. It didn't go the way he wanted to, although he almost got the score right. If he was just doing it on total points, he would have gotten it almost on the money. It is, of course, Dan. Dan, great to have you here. Your thoughts on the game? Unfortunately, did not go our way.
Didn't go our
what
way.
did you see in the game that obviously, that looks like the Lakers weren't going to be able to get it done tonight?
Yeah, too much mistakes. Anthony Davis, if he wasn't able to play tonight, the way he was playing, I didn't like it. The only person that did good was Reeves. Shout out to Reeves, bro.
Your boy.
Offensively, he was very good. Defensively, again, like no one,
Anthony
no ego
Davis
said. I got to give him credit. He did get cooked on the defensive end, but when you're putting out so much effort and you're asking to put so much on his plate, with now asking for a lion's share of the playmaking, of setting up the offense, you're asking him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot on his plate, and I don't know. Maybe he'll be able to up to challenge.
Yeah, he was playing like CeeDee Lamb was, so he was the only player that was on the court. Reeves. So shout out to him.
Shout out to him indeed. Joe.
Yep.
I'll bring it back to Joe again. The Lakers. They've got to put this loss behind them, but you're right. With a passive AD, if he continues to play like this against certain centers, it does not bode well for the team, especially in a tough playoff series, where if he goes quiet or if he goes soft, it doesn't bode well for the team at all. He does need help and support. But again, I just think it's just going to be more than just one Jonas Valanciunas, one Miles Turner, one insert your journeyman center here that's going to make it more palpable for the Lakers to move farther up in the standings.
We can want all we want. There's limitations to what they can do. There's any viable center is the centers that you would want are some of the top-notch players in the NBA. Valanciunas is an older center, sure. You have a young guy in Utah. We tend to overrate certain players because we need someone, and tonight is a perfect example of that. I don't know if people forgot what happened before tonight's game, that D'Angelo Russell's departure from the Lakers, forced departure, was because of missed open shots like they had tonight. He wasn't the only problem when he was missing those shots in LA, but it doesn't help to have that problem with another player. And that's why he's not here. And there was also issues with decision making. This guy's not supposed to have issues with decision making. This is his 10th season. This was supposed to be the least likely bust in his draft. This is a guy that has a skill set that's perfect for this era. Quick release, can shoot the ball quick, can kind of slither around a little bit, but focus is not there. And that's why he's not here, and that's why he became a frustrating player to watch. And as far as them getting what they got for him, guys, you're not going to get anything for a player who doesn't produce. What are you going to trade that has any value for a legitimate center? Who would be available anyways?
Well, everyone's under contract. What Uncle Gerald was saying, we cannot trade them until their contract is expired.
Who's this?
Who's this? What are you talking about, Dan?
Like you were saying, like we cannot trade the players right now.
No, we can trade. Everybody is available except for LeBron. LeBron has no trade clause.
What center right now that would solve some problems so this team is available, that would help AD, let's say? Who? I don't know any. There's no one. There's very few centers that are viable, and most of those guys are all-stars. You're not getting those guys, and you don't have enough money. They're not trading them. You're not getting Jokic. You're not getting Embiid, even though he's a basket case. You're not getting Sabonis out of Sacramento. Who? So now,
well, maybe you may want to change that on Sabonis with the way the Sacramento season is.
Yeah, but they're not trading him to LA. Sacramento will not trade any of their talent to the Lakers. Y'all got to wake up to that one. It's never going to happen. That is the reality here. Is you got to work with what you have, and unfortunately, Anthony Davis, who is 1 and 1A of your star-studded pillar, your columns, he cannot play like this in an area that he's supposed to dominate in. If he's not scoring because he's tired on defense, okay, I get it. But he cannot let what was going on under the basket. They should have learned something from the first game in Cleveland. They were running laps to the basket. Okay. And if you're going to spread him out because you want to open the lane, that's fine. I know he took a couple threes and he made one. That's great. I get that part on the offensive end. It gives him a little rest too. But on defense, I don't think it's a JJ Redick thing. I really don't, because this is not the first time we've seen this. This is an Anthony Davis issue. He is not dogging it up. He needs to make sure to make it difficult for guys like Jared Allen I mean, you have Anthony Davis guarding you, and I felt like Jared Allen was getting easy layups, yet Rui was missing layups that were right there. It doesn't make sense.
And missing threes for Hachimura. Yeah, you're correct.
And if you break down those last minutes of AD against Allen, man, Allen absolutely smashed him. But
he did.
Can I just and Gerald, I'm sure you're going to acknowledge it, but the $5 super chat from Nick T.
Absolutely.
Shout out
Much
to Nick
appreciated.
T. Yeah, he's an awesome contributor, and the reason I just want to go through that super chat in detail. So Nick T says ball game was connecting. Christie 1 for 10 from 3, and all year Lakers don't box out in defense. And I would love Kelly Olynyk next to AD. Joe, just in relation to what you're talking about with AD, and me too, I've focused on AD a lot tonight. What's your thoughts there when someone says the ball game actually probably wasn't his fault, and that Connect and Christie missing so much, and Rui to a lesser extent, is why we lost?
Yeah, it's definitely it definitely played a part in that. But I want you to say those three names again.
Yeah, Max. So I'll say it. Connect, Max, and Rui.
Okay, folks, you ready? Connect's a rookie, not a star.
No,
Max Christie, not a star.
not a starter.
Star. STAR, star.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the other one? Rui.
Rui.
What does Rui struggle with against big teams?
Yeah, always does. Oh. Joe?
Yeah, he's back. He's back.
We're
He's
back.
got
We're
you.
back.
Go ahead, Joe.
You cannot. I'm not going to put. Look, they're not making shots. They're missing a couple layups. Even through all that, that's when the guys that are getting paid the big bucks need to do what they're supposed to do then. A little bit. If this was strictly them missing shots and AD was doing his job and they kept screwing up, that's fine. But that's not what happened tonight. Tonight, there was too many mistakes down low where AD could have made a difference and he didn't for whatever reason.
Yeah,
that's it. There's nothing. I watched the game in its entirety. I saw the flow. I saw what was going on. Yeah. There was a great sequence in the first quarter, the first half, where AD sat for a good amount of time and the offense was buzzing. They came back from a huge deficit, and yet here you go. That's not my Wi-Fi, guys. I have a direct connect.
No, it's my laptop because of the huge crowd tonight. My laptop is overflowing right now. So thank you guys again for being here. Yeah, it's heating up in more ways than one. Unfortunately, it can handle only so much. But Nick T, truly appreciate the super chat. I do want to mention one thing though, as far as he talked about Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk, obviously can shoot the three, still rebound, even at 33 years old. Doesn't block shots anymore. So I do want to go ahead and correct Nick T on that. But outside of that, could be a good fit for the Lakers as a backup big. But I don't know, as far as alongside AD, those days where you're counting on him as a starter, especially for, as you've seen on Toronto right now, who's only won 7 games on the season. I don't know how much you would consider him as far as a starting center in the league anymore. I don't know how good he still could be. Same thing with Jonas. Jonas is playing well for a team that's won 5 games, something like that. Yeah. So when I worry about DFS getting traded to the Lakers and whatnot, yeah, he's shooting 43%, 10 points a game. But is he the same guy that you saw in Dallas that gave you the premier defense that we needed, honestly, that we need on this team?
I watched Nets a bit because my brother's a big fan of the Nets, and because of Ben Simmons, and DFS can ball. We've got to give him time, and so can Shake. Man, that trade was a positive. I can't look at, okay, it might not turn out to be that way. You got to give everything time. But right now, if you look at it, that's a positive trade. We needed D'Lo out of the team to give other players the responsibility to handle the ball. And the way he was rocking up, and he was just, as I said yesterday, he's a net negative. So that's a win for us. It's what happens next. And whether or not it is to stay with this lineup and get Gabe back, Vando back, Christian Wood, and see what we can do, and maybe have a conversation with AD is, can you step up? If not, we're going to peter out. But, like we've said a few times as well, Gerald, man, if there's the right opportunity to make a trade for that second round pick, I don't know as much as yourself and Joe and Danny as to, the ins and outs of the pick and the cap system. But for me, if you can trade a second round pick for Jonas, you've got to do it. I know he's not defensively.
Yeah, we have 2 second round picks left, both next year.
Yeah.
Us Our pick and the Clippers pick is what we have right now.
Well, look what we did with the second round pick this year. We traded for Bronny. So if you can get a player like Jonas,
That was a big mistake getting Bronny.
well, yeah,
Don't get Joe started on that
happy
one,
New Year
Dan.
to Bronny.
I
But
know.
yeah, like for the right trade, I'd be looking to move that pick if it can help AD, because I think we're well poised in the West. But it's got to be the right pick, as we know. And then the flip side is there a compelling trade for AD? I just don't see us doing it. I don't think Rob will pull the trigger on that. Rob, he pulled a trigger on Westbrook, which is one of our biggest trades in recent years, and he got it wrong. So to see him trading AD, man, it'd have to be for the right package. But let's see what happens. I think overall tonight we've got to look at it. The fact that the Cavs are, they're on heat. They're playing unbelievably well. We're trying to integrate players. AD didn't play well late. There's a few things there that we can focus on. But I'm going to ask Joe and Danny and Gerald a really quick question, because it was actually a great question from Ego.
Happy New Year, everyone. Sorry, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. But no, Ego, you're right. That one I was holding on to, but go ahead. My friend. You said
no. Oh, yeah. So we might start with Joe then on that question. Joe, no Ego asked a great question about JJ Redick. What's the grade you'd give him for this, up until this point of the season, a quarter through the season, halfway through the season? What's JJ Redick's grade?
I'm giving him as B minus.
I said a B minus in the chat too as well. He's had his ups and downs. As a rookie coach, he's getting his bumps. He's taking his lumps. But you know what? He's done pretty good overall.
I haven't seen one game where I'm like, what the hell is this guy running? Matter of fact, after the timeout in the first half, when they were getting blitzed a little bit, he can't. And this is not the first time. He has something that he shows something that ends up benefiting the team in the next few minutes.
I have actually. There was those two games against back-to-back winning coaches that have won titles that got him on the second half. He didn't make the adjustments. They did, and they clearly in back-to-back games clearly outcoached him in the second half. But then again, he's a rookie coach. Expecting that from time to time, but to put the Lakers in a position where if they just go on another streak like they did, they can find themselves easily in second place, as high as second place by the end of January. If they do that, then obviously, getting him was the right idea. Obviously, taking a step away from Ham, the team was absolutely miserable. You could tell the comments that's coming into the season, how much they did not like playing for Ham. So obviously they're tired of that. JJ, again, as a rookie coach, he's going to make his mistakes. He has. It's been clear. It's been evident. But you know what? He is doing some good things. He's providing some enthusiasm, and he has a passion for the game that I don't think Darvin Ham has. And I think that bleeds down to the team. Execution on offense is pretty good at times when they stick to his plan. They still ISO too much for my taste. Defensively, I still think there's a lot of issues with this team that he needs to address, and that's not just personnel. I think defensive positioning is something that gets, as I've noted, still tonight. We saw, as I've noted several times, guards getting caught with big men down low. Happened again tonight on more than one occasion. If he can find ways to get around that, I think there's going to be a lot of good things in store for the future. But I do give him a B minus as well. How about you, Dan?
A lot of people wanted Sam Cassell. A lot of people wanted him as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why we got JJ Redick for some reason, and he's under contract, and we know that. But until then,
what kind of grade would you give him so far as a head coach?
I agree with you, a B minus.
Okay, Mark.
Yeah, look, I'll be a bit more generous. Maybe in the future being a little bit more generous today. I'll give him a B. So B minus B. Honestly, I think he's been brilliant, and there has been those games, Gerald, that we've actually probably been on the post game together or on the playback together where he's got massively outcoached in the third quarter, and that was becoming a slight concern. Since then, they have turned it around. And the one thing I love about JJ is the passion he shows in press conferences. Danny doesn't like it, but
I
for
don't like
me,
him either.
man, when you hurt as a coach,
JJ Redick sounds just like Jerry Jones.
well, Jerry Jones isn't the coach, but if you focus on JJ's passion, the guy didn't play for the Lakers, but you could have fooled me because he seems to love the club and
He's got a passion. That's what
that's what I'm like. As I've told you before, Gerald, I'm like that as a person. I think you can see that in a guy like Joe as well. We're passionate people, and we love to see that in our coach, and we saw none of that in Ham. So when I see it in JJ, and I think the way that he makes in-game moves is starting to improve. He does timeouts at the right time. So, man, come on, we're 18-14 when a lot of us thought we weren't going to be in this position, and that's not just because of the players. That's coaching. Shout out
Joe,
to JJ.
Shout out to JJ indeed. But Joe, before we head on out, Kenneth Stone has a question for you. I agree, Joe. Remember when there was a time that Kenneth didn't agree with you and you guys came together on the air and that was a beautiful thing. He said, I agree, Joe, saying games ago, it's about solutions, chemistry being a priority in January. At Joe, 16 games in January. I'm thinking anything less than 10 and 16 is horrendous. Your thoughts, Joe? I would actually say 12 of 16 is what I would be looking for.
12 of 16 in terms of
games.
12 and 4 for those
Yes.
16 games?
Yes, that's what I'm looking at as far as to really make a move in the Western Conference.
Yeah, probably that'd be good. That'd be a good number. If you go 12 and 4, that means you're
30
12
and
games. You're 12 games over 500.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to get the 4th seed or more. And they have a gap here that they can take advantage of because Luka's not playing. Clippers got waxed tonight pretty badly by
Memphis is within reach, Joe, and they're number 2 in the Western Conference.
Yeah, man, there
would have to be a trade
beatable.
of a significant player for them to really be able to win against the mid-top tier teams on a regular basis. They're not going to have to worry about Cleveland anymore the rest of the year. They're going to have to face Boston soon enough, twice. They're going to have to face Oklahoma City again. They're not going to win every game besides those teams, but there needs to be likely a 3 out of 4 win week for January.
Mm-hmm.
And then in February, should they get someone that could help them depth-wise, even if it's not someone that would really, really kind of shock you and make you – are those the green ones?
No, the Kalamata. I don't think you'd like.
A YYC was asking for the olives still in play, and I said no because the Lakers,
the olives died 2 weeks ago.
2 games ago at the 30-game mark. Yeah, they weren't 4th place and above. That was the deal. So
we're going to share an olive, me and Joe.
Which reminds me, Joe, if you remember his statement at the beginning of the season, during the initial press conference that he had during the summer, Rob Pelinka stated he was going to evaluate this team with 30 games. And at 30 games, he was going to go ahead and decide exactly where to go from there. At 30 games, he traded, or 31 actually, he traded away D'Angelo Russell. So he obviously made an evaluation. He was true to his word in that sense, making evaluation after 30 games. You and I both think there still needs to be more moves to come for this team to get where we want them to be, Joe.
I guess he told the truth.
Told the truth and nothing but the truth.
And somebody shut up that dog. I keep hearing a dog barking.
Sorry.
The issue is one of my pet peeves is barking dogs. Sorry. That and wasting my time.
Or saying something you didn't say.
Oh, that too. The end game here is still going to come down to LeBron and AD no matter what. And I don't know if anybody's going to talk to AD at this point. I don't know. Maybe I've been in denial. Maybe I've been in denial about who he really is a little bit, purposely trying to say, okay, he's going to be fine. And they already won championships, so you would think that, okay, they know how to do this. AD is not old. He's not old. He's got a lot of miles, but he's still viable. Why is this going on right now? We can't afford to not have AD. At least give some resistance down low. If he's tired, tonight wasn't your usual, he's guarding 50 guys. I'm sorry, he's not guarding a guard coming across and then he has to drop back or commit or whatever. That wasn't tonight. All the Cavs do is they dive and then they wait for the open. They basically get you to focus on the dive and then boom, they try to get that ball to the outside and they just kept making the shots. And if I had to put it simply, tonight Cleveland shot lights out.
Yeah.
If I don't want to complicate it, if I don't want to go into a detailed diatribe, really what really ultimately killed the Lakers tonight really was the fact that they hit 18 damn three-pointers and the Lakers hit 9 out of 35. That's a lot.
Would you trade AD for the right package?
You probably would have to, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, fair call.
I would say the Oklahoma City trade to them at the end of the year would be something I would look into.
You want to know what I read today, Joe? That'd be interesting, guys, because you know how we talk about all the time about OKC and the treasure trove of draft choices that they have. Mm-hmm. Do you realize now after the trade that they made with the Lakers, Brooklyn has 31 draft picks in the next 7 years, 15 and 16 between first and seconds. So just
how many do we have?
Not a whole lot. I'll just say that. Not a whole lot, Dan. And I'll just leave it at that. I think we have 2 that we can second rounders we can play with, and we can only bundle 2 first-round draft picks at this point in time. But, Mark, I wanted to ask, I'm going to drop this one on you. Jackson Hayes was available for today's game, but was not used. Your thoughts on, obviously he was not going to be in NBA shape, so he would have played a sparing amount of minutes, but would have been another big body in there. He has played alongside AD. Curious that he wasn't even given a look by JJ tonight.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was available because you were saying
he was available. I retweeted out there.
Yeah, my bad.
No, you're all good, my friend. But no, I'm just saying, yeah.
No, you're right. And we had a chat yesterday thinking that he was available, and for him to be available and not play, well, that is a bit odd. But I guess when you're looking to integrate DFS and also Shake, maybe he felt it was too much to bring him back. There could have been a last-second fitness test. Obviously, if he was available, you would have liked to have used him and supported AD a bit more, because the other player I didn't really see out there tonight, and I'm just checking the box score, was my mate Koloko. Did he even play tonight, Gerald?
No. Remember, he's on a two-way. He's on a two-way, so he has a limited number of games that he can play.
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, so if we look at the players that played, Reddish, Smith, Connect, Christie, Milton, Rui, LeBron, AD, and AR. Yeah, definitely Hayes.
And Vinny also.
Bronny James was listed on the roster for tonight.
Well, I don't know what he would have added, but there's a reason Hayes hasn't played tonight. I'm certain of that, Gerald. Whether or not they felt last minute that he couldn't play, because without Koloko there, to plug that gap was Hayes. So let's see what happens next game if Hayes plays. The thing that I like about Hayes is he's our most talented dunker. So when he's out there, there's always a chance that there's a highlight from him. And he was showing improvement on both sides of the floor before he got injured. So we'll see what happens with Hayes, but he's not going to turn the needle enough for me. And he wouldn't have been out there late with, with Allen and AD.
Well, it could have been 5 fouls on Allen. at least to just body him
True.
up.
Yeah. Look, no.
If he takes
like
away
we think-
2 or 3 of those offensive rebounds.
Yeah, look, the thing that we keep saying about AD that we need to premise or, temper is the fact that he doesn't have much support right now. Ego made the point before that he doesn't. So if he gets that back, he's got no excuse.
And
He
credit to
doesn't
no
really
ego
have an
on that.
excuse. Yeah, there's been some really great points in chat tonight. Really great. That was a very good one, and I'll admit that. But we've also seen over the last 2 or 3 years, AD have support and go missing as he did tonight. So let's see what happens when he gets that support, and then there's a no excuse game for him. But yeah, tonight, I'll say it again, combination of Cavaliers playing really well, AD letting us down in the fourth, and integrating new players. Let's roll to the next game, and hopefully we can pick it up because we were playing well, boys.
And we'll see what happens. Of course, the upcoming game against Portland, and then we'll go ahead and see what we can do to change the needle back into the right direction for the Lakers. Once again, they lose 122-110. But again, a lot of winnable games on the horizon for the Lakers. If they want to make their move should be made early in 2025, not repeating the same mistakes Joe and I were talking about a year ago, Joe. And that's something I fear. I don't think it won't happen. I don't think it will happen, but I fear may happen again as far as 2025. They started out, remember last January, they had that lull, but I think the schedule is too easy this time around to prevent that from happening, Joe.
Well, looking at the schedule, I think they start the new year off against Portland, which should be a win. Atlanta's going to be tough, especially if.
Which Atlanta are you going to get?
Right. They're at home, and usually they play Atlanta well at home anyways. Then they have a 2-game road trip to Houston and Dallas. If they split that however way, and you start out the first 4 games 3-1, you're on the right track, because then the next few games are against Charlotte, San Antonio, Miami, Brooklyn, and then the Clippers in LA, and then Washington before the Boston
And those
game.
San Antonio doubleheaders, the back-to-back San Antonio games are in LA.
They are, and there's also a gap in between the games. So you have a rest day. It's not going to be a back-to-back officially, but it's a back-to-back game against them.
Mm-hmm.
There is a chance that they can have a good month if they play focused and with some want. That's really what it is. It's sad to say that, but that's what it is. And I'll put a button on this before I have to head out and start entertaining my guests
myself
again.
as well.
2025 is likely going to be, for the Lakers, a watershed moment, one way or the other.
I thought you were going to be the GM for the Lakers.
Would you like to be?
Not in this lifetime. Not in this lifetime. There's no room for people like me in normal business settings. I don't belong in 95% of the places out there, whether they're corporate or whether they're whatever. I am not. My personality does not coexist very well with the general population.
You too, No Ego, wishing you a happy and prosperous 2025. And you know what? On behalf of all of us, even Mr. Corporate Giant Joe Soro, we're all wishing you a happy and prosperous 2025. Indeed, Mark is in 2025 now. It must be nice being in 2025. So
it's good, boys.
Yeah, there you go. Enjoy the ladies, enjoy the beaches, my friend. So there you go.
It's nice that it's also nice this last few days where the banter that sometimes goes into the 8 range on a vehicle wasn't met with stupidness. Folks, the action sometimes needs to get hot. But if you come with legitimate information to back yourself up, you're going to be respected here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pull some BS. Mm-hmm. If you're just pulling some BS to troll, okay, it's fun. I do that. It's cool.
We'll toy with you, though, before we throw you out.
But don't come in here and say, Lame's bum or whatever like stuff.
Labald Lane.
Oh,
Lames.
yeah.
By the way, I love that name. But
Yeah,
the
good
stuff
name.
you were saying was like,
Bad
dude,
comment.
you ruined a hilarious name with stupid stuff. Like, at least say
Yeah.
something of substance. Not
Well,
LeBron sucks. Okay, LeBron sucks. Okay, that really helps.
And
So,
on
yeah.
that note,
So 2025 will be a watershed year for the Lakers in so many ways, and I'll tell you why.
yeah, it's a big year, man.
I have a theory on what's happening in LA right now. The Guggenheims are going to make a move to take over sports in LA. And that's not going to bode well. You're talking about LA, folks. You're talking about King Kobe, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James. You're talking about the greatest basketball players that have ever, forget basketball, greatest athletes that have ever played in the world that have resided in LA. And if there's pressure coming, and the Dodgers are a huge LA team too, don't be wrong. They've been getting top audiences for years now.
I mean, 3 million is a normal year.
Try almost 4 million. They just missed the regular season with I think 600,000 people in terms of less people. Sorry, I can't even talk. They were almost for 4 million in the regular season. They eclipsed it in the playoffs. But in the regular season, there was 600,000 away from 4 million. Folks, LA is supposed to be this lax, you have the beach, you have all this. Guys, we love the Dodgers and we love the Lakers. But right now, the Dodgers are about to take over. And it's not about 2025. 2025 is going to start being that little roller coaster when you're going up, but it's going to keep going up. And it ain't going to drop for a while. So I think there's going to be pressure from the city, the fandom of the city, and they better get their act together here. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of pressure for Jeannie and Rob and all these guys to start figuring out another way to get things. And you all know who's over there working with the Dodgers, Mr. Magic Johnson. You don't think he's trying to put some stuff together? That's my button on 2025. I wanted to wait till the last day of 2024 so that you get a little tease for 2025. Folks, we're going to find out a lot of things in 2025, and that's a big one. Anyways, have a good New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Mark, Dan.
Happy New Year, Joey.
As long as your dog isn't barking, you're always welcome. And then, Gerald, stay safe. I'll see you on the next one.
To you as well, my friend. Once
Happy
again, it is the Lakers fast break. 122-110, the Lakers lose.
See you,
But on behalf of all of us here at the Lakers fast break, the entire panelists from the Lakerholics to Mark, to Joe, to Dan, to everybody that stops on by, of course, John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner, we want to wish you the best. Magic Man, Sean Grice, and Nick, give them a big shout out. Happy New Year to those guys out there on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Again, we truly appreciate you joining us. Hopefully you'll join us many more times in the new year. Hopefully you'll like and subscribe because it really helps us out. And we're looking forward to an even bigger 2025 from all of us right here.
Subscribe. Guys,
There you
subscribe.
go. Subscribe
Happy New Year.
indeed to the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy
Be
New
safe.
Year.